Yesterday was the Orangeville Demolition Derby, and I got to run this car. This was my first time running these Buick Century rims. They are worth the money, guys. I got a lot of tire shots because the car was not really doing very good near the beginning, and the rims did fantastic. So let's go through. I ran the mini heat, and I ran the free-for-all at the end. There's a reason why I did the free-for-all. I'll tell you guys that in a bit. So, car pass tech, the officials were looking at my car as half decent, which, you know what I expect. You know, the car was half decently competitive. I did ask them if I was allowed to do all the 9-wire in the doors, and they said yes. So I did the 9-wire in the doors. So I did pass tech, no problems. You know, everything was going good. Car drove on the trailer fine here at the house. At the Derby, started up, drove off the trailer fine. Everything was perfect. Go to drive it in the ring, the car would not run. I am not sure what's going on, but I can tell you right now it is fuel related. And I don't know if it's the $240 pump or the $60 filter or even the $80 fuel regulator, but something in this fuel system is not running right. You know what, heck, it might even be the fuel rail itself. But this car does not want to run very well or reliably. So, not overly happy about how it ran inside the ring. Other than that, everything in the car held together the way it should, except the bumper. The bumper frickin' died very quickly. This tire here took a lot of tire shots. You guys can see it's all torn apart, and the fender got dinged up really bad because the car was not running well enough to get out of it. Actually, in the heat, I was taking the return line from the fuel the fuel regulator to the tank and squeezing it so that way the fuel pressure would go up and it would run a little bit better. I don't know if there's something wrong with the fuel regulator. I don't know if there's something wrong with the gauge on the fuel regulator, but something is wrong with the fuel system, the delivery system inside this. This is the first time me running a pump like this. This is the first time me running this fuel regulator. Maybe I'll try changing the regulator and see if it does anything. I don't know. I have regulators in other cars that I can pull out and quickly put into this and check. But so in the heat, it didn't really run right. There was 4 Camrys, I believe, maybe 5 in the heat, a Mazda 3, and a couple Honda Civics. So the Civics stopped running pretty quickly. The Camrys, we all kind of piled together. The 333 came in hard to 87's passenger side strut, and I came in trying to hit 333 and try to not slow down, because if I hit him and got buried him, I didn't really want to, so I kind of hit and turned to try to get out of it, and as I was trying to get out of it, I got smoked into it by another Camry, and my bumper kind of went right inside of the rear of his car. So we all got hung together, and then 07's car died, so I couldn't get it out at all, but my car was running, and I was able to do a burnout on the track with my tire. I thought maybe I was buried in 333's rear quarter panel with this tire, but I was just doing a burnout on the ground. So I couldn't get out, and then the Mazda 3, you know what, it was a super smart play. I got to give it that. Came in, made a tap, which is competitive in our area around here, and then just drove away. So they did give the Mazda 3 the win in the heat, and so then what they did is because 07 did make the last hit, but he died and couldn't run, and I was still running, I got second. So I did take second. It was kind of controversial. I said to 07, you want the money or you want the trophy? And he said, no, I just want to know that I actually won second. So we talked about it. We came to an agreement on our own, but it was a tough call for the officials. So then they had a free-for-all heat, which cost $20 to go in. The guy that actually drove the Mazda 3 went into his minivan and gave the Mazda 3 to his girlfriend. So it was just me and his girlfriend in the free-for-all. And my beef was not with his girlfriend, my beef was with him. So if you actually watch, I think I hit that Mazda 3 twice, but I destroyed his van, and I felt good about it. And near the end, he was passenger side out, and this car died, and it took me a long time to refire. And you guys may think I lost my steering in the in car or in the Derby, you guys may think I lost my steering, because all I did was when it refired was just drive to reverse into his passenger side tire of that van. No, I have all the steering in the world, guys. I just wanted to wreck his van because he did not get me unstuck in the mini feature. So we had a good talk about it. We were good friends. We shook each other's hands, and he's upset because his van is destroyed, but I told him I'll give him a strut. So you know what, guys? I felt so much better. The officials were telling me to hit the Mazda 3, and I was like, I'm not interested in the Mazda 3. I'm interested in that van. So I imagine that the frame rails wouldn't have been this bad if I just stopped hitting that van. But guys, I had a very fun time hitting that van. And you know what? It made it all worth it. I felt good after that. You know, I kind of felt crappy in the heat because it didn't really go the way I really wanted it to. But I had a fun time feeding it to that van, and that's all that really matters to me. But so what we're going to be doing is we have to figure out the fuel issue in this car, and I don't know what it is as of right yet. And this car is extremely loud for some reason. I don't know if it's timing, but it seems to be running really good. I think it's probably either the fuel pump, fuel regulator, or the actual fuel injectors or fuel rail inside this car. So I'm going to start with the easiest thing, which is probably the fuel system, which is either the regulator or the pump inside the car, and we're going to go from there. But I do have to get it inside the shop because it is too loud. So I need to get it inside the shop, shut all the doors, because I would like to probably run this car next weekend. So I have like 5 days to figure out why this thing ran like shit and get it going again. But we're going to start on this. We're going to cut this bumper off, and at this show we are allowed, to be honest, I'm not sure. We're probably allowed 80s bumpers or another full-size bumper. I'm not sure. You know what? I might even just leave that thing on there because the next show will probably be the last show for this car. So we'll see how much time I have. The main concern is going to be the fuel system, and then after that, if we have more time, we'll look at other things that we can do to try to fix this thing up. But, you know, this car is so weird. It ran great, and then going into the ring, it barely ran. And then once I started pinching the return line, it would run really good with power and the heat. But then I turned the fuel regulator up because maybe I thought the gauge was faulty because I had it set to 38 psi. So I set it to 60 to go into the last chance, and it ran really, really good the entire time until it just shut off. And then it would not refire. I had to basically turn the fuel pump off, start it when it kicked, turn the fuel pump back on like immediately, and then give it gas and it'll get going. So I don't know what that was all about. So I'm really leaning towards the regulator. I think that the regulator is a pile of junk. I think that maybe cheaping out on Amazon is not really the right thing to do for those regulators, but we'll have to figure that out. And then yeah, so that's pretty much what we got to do to this thing. And but I just don't understand. And then once the minivan heat, like once the free-for-all was over, I turned the car off, right? And got out, shook everybody's hand. And then we went to drive out of the track. The car started up, ran perfectly, went onto the trailer, zero issues. So I don't really know what the issue is with this car, but I do have to figure it out. But had a fun time in Orangeville. I did walk away with second place. I got a heat winner trophy for second place, so I'm not really sure. But you know what? It's a 3 foot tall, 2.5 foot tall trophy. I'll take it. I like putting tall trophies on my wall. But if the trophy's under 12 inches, guys, it's not worth keeping. We sound like girls here being judging, but if the trophy's under 12 inches, we're not keeping it. We give it away to a kid in the stands. But yeah, so we'll get this thing into the shop probably here this week, probably today, to be honest. And I just got to wait because it's too early and the neighbors will call the cops. So we're just going to wait a little bit, and then we'll get it in the shop, and then we'll start tearing it down. And I'm going to start with the fuel pressure regulator, and we're going to go from there. Because we need to figure out why this thing is not running right, and then get it to run right. Saying thanks for watching, guys. I did have fun in Orangeville, but I thought I could have done so much better. The car had a lot more life into it than getting hung up into another car, and I feel disappointed that that's how that ended. But you can't really, you know, not every derby goes the way you want it to, guys, so I had fun. It's going to come home with me, and it did, and it's still in half decent shape, so we're going to try to fix it for the next one. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later here on Zach's Workshop.